Hey everybody, hope you're having a great day. Going to go ahead and jump through these trades. So first off, we were looking for a break and hold over 446.5 for calls, and a break and hold over 447 for calls. We were also looking to potentially see a 445.4 bounce and a 444 bounce. So we were looking at initially we were looking at how this was breaking to the upside, but ultimately I think we ended up doing Tesla first. And the reason that we did Tesla first is because you have this really strong impulsive move to the upside. And so we just went off of this, though you could go pre-market low to high as well. Honestly, pre-market low to high gives you this really nice fib cluster, this 50 and 61.8 lining up on the same spot. Some of us entered a little bit early here on the 50, and the reason for that is because you can already see that buyers are showing their presence with these huge wicks here. We have the 9 EMA right there too, so there's reason I think to enter there early. But if you look at the shorter time frames here, there's not a whole lot of signal in this particular set of candles here, except that you've got like early signs of buyer presence. And what we ended up doing was we were able to hold this through the 61.8. We didn't close under the 61.8, so we had a little bit of a longer stop loss on this one than we normally do. But you can see here that we did come back up just like here on volume, and then we broke to the upside, and we were able to get a really nice move off of this, entering in here, adding in here, and that was a really nice one to have with the team. And we were also able to make the call out very similarly for SPY. Once we broke above 446, you have this really nice break and retest. If you go to the 5-minute, you can see that our pre-market low to the current day high makes this really nice 61.8, very, very close to our level, 445.37 instead of 445.4. We also kind of have this little pre-market low area. It's not technically the pre-market low because of the CPI data. So you could see on this way down here that we've got a little bit of decreasing volume, but you've also got a really big difference in candle size versus the volume. So you've got a large candle with much smaller volume than the ones coming down here. So you can tell that there's a little bit more warring going on. You do have a nice orb line move to the downside. That's what this line is, a opening range breakout. Tap to the downside off of the 50 here, but ultimately we get our really nice bounce here, and it's a little bit harder to tell. It's not the easiest of signals, at least I don't think, but you do have buyers showing presence on a smaller time frame right here. You have this much stronger move down past pre-market low, so it's hard to kind of see this one working out. The lower time frames don't really give us a whole lot to work with, the 1 minute or the 2 minute, really, in my opinion. And then you even have this like kind of small candle, small volume. But then we break above it. We get a nice 2 minute confirmation here. If you're confident enough about the level, then that works out just fine. But personally, this kind of felt like trying to catch a falling knife looking at this. However, looking here, this one worked out a whole lot better. You have much more confirmation of buyers showing their presence, and you also have a little bit of a clearer downside move. You've got small volume, huge candle, much like the one previous, but then you've got a really clear uptrending amount of volume and really small candles following it, showing that sellers are really having a hard time continuing the momentum down. They don't have increasing momentum, they have decreasing momentum with increasing volume. That is a really nice thing to see at your level of interest if you're looking for a reversal. QQQ had very similar move, and this was one of our callouts today. Callouts looking for a hold of 372 to 372.5. Here you go. You've got our 372 again. That kind of same pre-market area before CPI happened, and you've got similar structure happening. I like the way that QQQ looks a lot better than SPY for this particular play. You've got the 61.8 here. Looks pretty good here. We do get the same orb play, but in this case, you've got decreasing volume to the downside, and then you've got a higher volume hammer right at your area of interest. If you're looking for the smaller time frame, you can see that we come down on pretty good volume. We also engulf it on really good volume as well. You get your that's 1 minute. We can go 2 minute. For 2 minute confirmations, you get your 2 minute confirmation still pretty close to the level, which I really like. And again, you've got a little bit more obvious price action showing you that sellers are really struggling to maintain this move to the downside. So there's a little bit more confidence taking the move to the upside on this one. It shows best, I think, probably on Meta. So Meta, we had 300 bounce, 306.5 for calls, and 405.40 reject. This was also on my watch list today too. So coming down here, you can see that we did get a pretty nice 305.63 reject. If you're looking on the higher time frames, this looks a lot more obvious. You get a lot of wick here. You get volume really dropping off with a pretty big rejection candle. But then we move down on really low volume compared to how we moved up, and you can kind of see it here the same way. You've got this big move down on really low volume compared to how we climbed up, and on the ending candles here, you can see that the candle sizes have decreased despite the volume increasing. This particular 5 minute candle doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence going into it. But when we come down here, you can see all of our big candles, our big volume candles, show that there's buyer strength in them. You've got this huge candle on next to no volume that gets engulfed by a candle, almost engulfed by a candle on better volume, another low volume push down, another high volume reversal bar, low volume push down, high volume reversal bar. So taking your entries here off of this candle or on this candle if you feel confident in it from that standpoint. The only problem with it is that for me, my risk is down below this 301 or below 300, which is a long way to fall. So just to be more conservative, probably set your stops here, aim for high a day, aim for the EMAs, get your nice price target, plenty of room to the EMAs and plenty of room to high a day. So this is a pretty nice one. Didn't catch the move myself, but reading it and studying it is definitely going to help me catch it next time. Last one was Amazon. We were looking for this 140 hold. It hit during CPI, and it took off and said, see you later. If you take the pre-market low to the high a day at this time, you could get a nice retracement off of the 50. And let's take a look really quick at how that plays out. You've got pretty decent volume coming up, but you can see here the volume has stayed really high, but this candle is very, very small. We get a pretty high volume reversal, low volume retest, and then we start to see that increasing volume to the downside. It is still much smaller compared to the climb up though, much like Meta was. And when we get down here, you can see a nice decreasing amount of volume, and you can see bullish price action with these bars here. It looked like for a second that it might just hammer right here on the 9 EMA, but you've got your 21 EMA right here. You've got the top of a bull flag right here, and then you've got your 50% retracement that it just barely taps. It's a little bit risky given what's right above it, and this is the flag, by the way. It's a little bit risky given what's right above it, but let's analyze potential entries here. You get this move down, again, on pretty low volume. This high volume kind of makes it look like we're going to continue to move to the downside, that we're maybe experiencing a lower high. When it comes down, pretty good volume here, but volume completely drops off and then increases on the way up, as you can see here. But it's just really early. It'd be tough to take it off of this. I like to see it break through the fib before going on it, and you don't really get that. So you probably only be able to enter on a 5 minute confirmation, like pushing it past here, or once it passes the EMAs. And you probably want to keep your stops really tight, like a break back below the EMAs on this one in particular, because I don't know that I would want to enter all the way up here on an options contract and wait for it to come back below the fib to say that that one's not going to work out. But it was a pretty nice move, and obviously it went to its near high a day. This was the reject area that we were looking for. You get a pretty nice break and retest of this area if you wanted to take one of those. But that's it. That's all for the day. Hope you guys had a good one, and I'll talk to y'all later.